Hi, this is Aaron Wilson. Today's topic is salary cap restructures. Nico Collins is the latest example of how Texans general manager Nick Caserio creates salary cap space by restructuring a contract. And all that means is there's conversions of salary into a signing bonus. So Nico Collins, you remember last year, signed a 3-year, $75 million contract, had $52.1 million guaranteed, and got a $17 million signing bonus. So in this case, what Nico's done through his cooperation and his representation is a conversion. And so what he gets in return is a signing bonus. So he gets $12.3 million in a signing bonus, and his original base salary for this year, for 2025, was scheduled to be $13.5 million. The new base salary is $1.17 million, and his new salary cap figure is $8.577. So it's a reduction of $9.8 million in salary cap room, which creates spending flexibility for the Texans. And his original salary cap figure for this year was $18.441 million. So that's a pretty high number. So when does the bill become due, the credit card bill, if you will, for Nico Collins? So the salary cap figures for him will rise. Starting in 2026, it's a $27.591 million cap figure and a $20 million base salary. That was his original base salary that was scheduled when he originally negotiated this contract. So that's guaranteed for injury only at the time of signing, and it will become fully guaranteed on the 5th day of the 2026 league year. So basically, for all intents and purposes, the $20 million is guaranteed, and he's going to make $20 million. There are other things in the contract, and we've gone over some of these before. Like last year, he had a Pro Bowl incentive. So $250,000 for that. He also can make an additional $625,005. He gets paid $36,765 every game that he's active. He can make another $500,000 for catches and yards incentives. Those are regarded as not likely to be earned incentives. His total cash value for 2025, $14.125 million. So with Nico Collins, and obviously I have a copy of his contract. I can't remember every number off the top of my head. I'm not, photographic with my memory, but the basics are these. The Texans restructure a conversion of the salary into the signing bonus, and he makes the same amount of money. So he still gets paid the same amount, and then they added void years to further ameliorate the signing bonus with the proration that becomes due later. And you add voidable years. The way voidable years work, you're not really going to be on the team in those years. They automatically void, meaning the contract ends. And they have placeholder salaries that he's not going to earn of $40 million in 2028, $40 million in 2029. So those are voidable, and do not expect him to reach those. But he's here, for the long-term future, Nico Collins, and it was a good contract by Nick Caserio. The player lived up to the expectations. He did miss the 5 games, but he still made his first Pro Bowl, one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. And it's just an example of how you can, play with the math, do some accounting to be able to spend in free agency. They also created $6 million in cap savings by restructuring Azeez Al-Shaair, the linebacker, his salary for 2025. And they have other candidates to do that with. At this time, nothing with Laremy Tunsil, and nothing with Titus Howard, and nothing with Joe Mixon. Wouldn't surprise me to see probably a couple more restructures within this fiscal year by Nick Caserio. And this is something that he's good at in terms of restructuring contracts, creating cap space, and then being able to compete in free agency. Your question you'll have is, what are they going to spend the money on? And we'll get into that in another video about where the Texans may land in free agency as they seek to make upgrades at guard and other spots. So you have the guard position. You could still use a defensive tackle and another wide receiver and some help at safety. So we'll get into some of the likely candidates for those spots as they head to free agency. I'm taping this on Sunday, which is the first night before the legal tampering period that begins Monday and ends Wednesday when you have full on-scale free agency. So it's going to be a lot of activities, going to be a lot of things going on, and I'll try to do daily videos. I want to talk with you guys each day and kind of recap some things that have happened and what might happen next. So yeah, please keep it locked here on the channel. I'm also on X and Twitter at @AaronWilson_NFL, Instagram AaronWilson7128, and tonight on Sports Sunday with Randy McElroy and Paul Gallant. So we talked about the Texans and free agency and some of the recent activity, including the release of Shaq Mason, the restructure of Nico Collins, and more tonight on Sports Sunday. So yeah, good conversation with those guys as always. And you can read about it all at www.click2houston.com as we continue to cover the Texans offseason. The programming note, I'll be traveling to the NFL owners meetings in Palm Beach, Florida. They'll have this at the ultra posh Breakers Hotel, which is a hangout of the rich and famous. I'll be there. I'm not rich nor am I famous, but I'll have my face in the place and go to the NFL Commissioners Party and talk with the McNair family about the state of the team, and of course D'Amico Ryans from the annual AFC Coaches Breakfast. So programming note, look for more coverage there. They have that from March 30th to April 2nd, so at the end of the month, start of April. Yes, on April Fool's Day too. We'll have coverage for Click to Houston and at KPRC2 on my television channel, and of course on YouTube. So looking forward to doing some videos from the Breakers and show you a little bit about how the 1%, the rich folks, how they're living in Palm Beach, Florida. So yeah, all the owners will be there. The McNairs always attend and generally have done interviews with media. So it'd be good to talk with them as we did last year when Cal McNair was unanimously voted as principal owner of the Texans, taking over from his mom, Janice McNair. And Janice, of course, won the Lifetime Achievement Award this year from the Houston Sports Awards. So congratulations related to Janice McNair. And so it'll be interesting to see what does Cal McNair think about the state of the team. I haven't heard from him a little bit since the season about the offensive coordinator hire of Nick Caley, about some of the offseason additions and subtractions. And yeah, look forward to bringing you that coverage. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. And this is just basically a good example of how contracts work in the NFL and how they change when the team needs some spending power. And so the Texans have a good relationship with Nico Collins and his representation. Drew Rosenhaus got one done here, and it's not the toughest negotiation. It's more of a formality to get these done, but they're necessary to have the spending power as you head into free agency. And I expect them to work on other deals, including Christian Kirk. At this time, nothing imminent, so I have a non-update on Christian Kirk. And we'll get into some more things in a separate video. Thanks.